So up to this point, what we did is that if I do the Control Z, is that we have the polyline, and as I remember when I said start to draw the cross section with polyline, and we rotate that. Now I want to show you what happened if I don't have a polyline. If what would be happen? So let me delete that. So let me go ahead and this is a polyline, and then I disconnect all these lines to convert them to couple of lines, and then I will show you what happens. So I come here, click here on the modify, and here we have the explode command. If I click on the explode command, basically it's gonna disconnect all the lines that I have. So I click on that, and I select this object that I have here, and then press enter, and then it's gonna as you can see, if I click on them, now I can see they are separate uh, uh, lines, so they're not polyline anymore. So I can show you there. Now if I go ahead and try to rotate that, so if I go ahead and say I will revolve that this time, I click on that, and then it says select all the objects you want. So if I go ahead and select all the objects I want to revolve, so all of those lines I want to revolve, and press enter, and then it says revolve it, and assume I said I'm gonna revolve it about the in this case about its base. Let's me so I revolve it from here, so not the base, so about this edge, and then I'm gonna so sorry, so let me go back. So select all the lines that I want to revolve, press enter, and then I want to revolve it about this and then assume I wanted to revolve it for 90 degrees. I press 90 degrees, so it's revolved. Now let me show you what happens if I revolve it like that. So look at here, we'll see that this time it is hollow. Previously when we revolve that, it was a filled object, but this time you can see that when I explode it and separate it into a series of the single lines, although it formed a closed cross section, but it's not gonna do the it's gonna be like the hollow format. So if I go back here and for example, let me just select this, make it so let me go to 2D view, so I have both of them. I can create another copy of that. So I'm gonna copy this, so I copy this shape and select this point, and I will move it to the right for example 200. Well, let's move it a little bit further. For example, let's do 400. Let's get rid of this. So if I now now I have that, I'm gonna join back together to make it a polyline. So select the join, and then I select all of them together, press enter. So now I have the polyline here and separate line here, and then I rotate them next to each other so you can see the difference better. So if I go back here and we'll start to rotate this one first, so you can see that is the polyline. It's going to be similar to what we have before. So I select the object I want to and then I select this base here, the left edge, so the lower top corner, and then I rotate it 90 degrees. So this is the closed polyline, and now I'm gonna do the same thing with these closed just lines. So I revolve it, I select it, and I select all these that I want to revolve, and then I select again this left edge, and I revolve it for 90 degrees. So now you can see the difference between these two. So if I rotate them, so you can see the second one is hollow, is empty inside, while the first one is completely a solid filled object. So if I have the polyline, so the difference between first one and second one is that the first one is the closed polyline, the second one is the um, uh, as I said, is the closed lines. So it's gonna be the difference that how the closed polyline and closed line is gonna create uh, as I said, 3D object. Now let's go back. Another thing is that, so here what I have is both of them are closed polyline. So let's see if I have the open polyline compared to the open series of lines like what we have here. So again, here I'm come here and explode this polyline I delete this edge here. I remove that edge, and then I go back and join them back together. So I join all these lines back together. So now I have an open polyline here, and then here I just delete this. So I have one so here I have an open polylines, and here I have a open I mean just basically 5 lines connected to each other. See what happened. There's two different way of what happened here. So once again I'm come here and I'm going to rotate it again about this left edge. So if I come here, click on the revolve and select this polyline and press enter, and again I come here, choose this edge here and choose this edge, this node here, and revolve with 90 degrees. You will see there's not much difference between what we had here and before. The same here, if I come here for this one and do the same thing here, if I come here, select all of these that I want to revolve, press enter, and for the axis I select this point and this end point here and revolve it for 90 degrees. Again, I will see I have the filled object here and I have the hollow object here. So if I rotate it, you may see it better. But let's see what if I don't choose that very first edge, what happens. So if I come here, so again this time, but instead of choosing this edge, I choose the axis that is not make a closed polyline here. So if I come here, let me rotate it a little bit, so let's see. So if I zoom here and this time revolve, select the polyline, enter, but this time I'm gonna choose and 2 points that is not gonna be on it's not gonna form a closed polyline here. So I assume I choose a point here and choose a point up there, and again still my XY is in this as the same as the front view. So whatever line I'm gonna draw is gonna be on the same plane that the polyline is, and select the other one up here, Now if I rotate it, you see it's gonna be hollow. It's not gonna be, although it's a polyline, but it's not gonna be uh, field solid object. So if I go, the only way that if I come here and select this, the only way that I'm gonna have a solid object when I rotate it is that if I select the axis in a way that I create a closed polyline. So this is created the full, but if I come here and select this and press enter and I select the axis in a way that I'm not gonna create a closed polyline, so I select somewhere here to here, because if I select this axis is not gonna create any closed polyline, so it's gonna be hollow here that you can see. It's not gonna be that much change for closed line. So for the closed line, either if you choose for example here, no matter if I choose the axis from this corner to this corner, it's gonna create a hollow uh, uh, rotation. Also, if I go back, I choose any axis that is not on that, is not create a closed shape, still is gonna have the same effect. If I put it somewhere here and here, still is gonna be hollow. So what's the difference? There's only one difference between these two conditions. So if I want to show that what's the difference, that if I come here, click on the revolve and select this polyline, press enter, and select the axis that's not going to create a closed polyline. So I create, for example, somewhere one axis here and rotate it, or assume this time I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees and do the same things here. Come here, select all these, press enter and select an axis somewhere here and then rotate it 60 degrees. So they look like the same, but if you click on them, you will see that here the entire 3D rotation is one shell. So everything is one shell. But here, if you come here and click it, you will see every part is separate shell. So if I rotate it from the polyline, the entire thing is going to be one rotation. Here is like that I rotate every single line separately. So everything that created from Revolve is going to be a separate object. So that's the only difference they will have if you do that. If I want to put it in the simple form, is that if you have a closed polyline, when you do the revolve command, it creates a field solid 3D object. Otherwise, it's going to create a hollow object, a hollow 3D object for you that is empty inside. That's you can generalize it like that.